Welcome to continuing coverage of the 2022 PDGA Masters World Championships. From the greater Peoria, Illinois area, it's Grant Zellner and Garry Patton.
I'm really excited to see these players play the course today and some stronger winds. This course isn't a permanent course in our area, so it's always nice to see players attack it.
We're out at the infamous Eureka Lake Temp course. You've seen it as part of Ledgestone coverage for several years running now. And we're going to see this MP40 group attack this infamous layout. These guys earned their right to be part of the lead card today after a brutal day out at Northwoods Black. So now, comparatively speaking, we are out in the open enjoying a little bit of the sunshine.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace not to be trapped in the woods. And up top, we have a Illinois local to the Illinois-Iowa region, Alan Wagner.
Oh, all right. So we're going to get to see some local knowledge here in addition to your local knowledge. Garry, hole number one, you've seen it before, 633 feet, a par four up and over the berm here. The basket tucked way back there to the left. Takes, I like to say, roughly 300 feet at minimum to clear the water and the berm, although if you want to bite off a little more, you certainly can.
Welcome to the 2022 PDGA Masters World Championship. This is our lead card for the MP40 division. Leading us off from Montrose, Iowa, Alan Wagner.
And first up here, we have Alan Wagner. Looks like we have a little bit of a headwind, maybe with a slight crosswind. He's looking to really get the nose down and drive the shot over the spine there of the dam.
Can't go too long to the right up and over the berm. There is a road over there that is out of bounds.
Yeah, it looks like he threw something nice and overstable. Hopefully that just clears the top. It's looking like it might flirt with the OB, but
looks pretty good.
From St. Thomas, Ontario, Martin Hendel.
Thank you.
Canada's Martin Hendel played very well yesterday in the close confines of Northwood Black. I'm really interested in seeing how he plays this course based on the fact he did so well at US DGC last year.
Yeah, it's similar to Winthrop, just maybe a little more water out here.
Oh, wow, that just squeaked over.
From Knoxville, Tennessee, Kris Orrick.
Kris Orrick now in volunteer regalia.
Yeah, I've never seen Kris play before, so I'm excited to check him out, check his game out.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's either from Tennessee or has strong ties to Tennessee.
That's a very fair assumption. And he looks like he pulled the most common mistake on this hole and just turned it over a little too much.
And from Arvada, Colorado, Joe Rovere.
And next here we have Colorado's pride and joy, Joe Rovere. It's really nice to see him out on the road a bit, contending for a Masters World title. You can see the wind is really picking up also. Those feathers they're definitely flapping pretty hard.
So during the course of this afternoon, there were a number of thunderstorms in the area all afternoon long, and some of them came close enough to cause some strange winds here and there.
And he's pulled that over a bit, but if it's overstable enough, it should stay in bounds. And that's a great shot there. That's the typical landing zone, I'd say.
Green or red? Green.
Yeah, swirling winds from time to time, gusting and then calm. A couple of times even some rumbles of thunder well off in the distance. But later on in the round, we did get a little bit of a quick little downpour. At any rate, here's Kris.
And keep in mind, too, he's throwing off of loose gravel on this upshot. It definitely makes it a bit trickier than normal.
Yeah, not an easy shot from down there. He's still 300 feet or so plus the uphill to deal with. Joe now.
And I'd say he's just following suit there. He played to the low side of the hill because if you go over the top, the wind will often pull you in the lake. So
Here's Martin, as you can see, from 250 feet.
that looks perfect.
Seemed shorter than that, but
Was it a little shorter?
I'll trust the stake right there at 250. Here's Alan, also from, let's call it 230.
Alan throws a beautiful shot. Shouldn't be any more than about 15 feet there for his birdie.
Dangerous putt here for Kris. Oh, wow. Gave it a run.
Yeah, that was a very confident bid from down there.
Quickly to Joe.
Just a little lack of commitment there, but it stays in bounds. Martin just a little low as well. He actually was a little shorter than I thought. And here's the trouble of running this putt a little too far. If you don't go B, you're still going to be left with a very awkward putt.
Kris trying to figure some things out. There we go. Let's hope that settled for him. No, it did roll away just a little bit.
And hopefully you can put this in here and just stop the bleeding again. There, nice putt.
So an unfortunate double to start the day for Kris. We'll see what he can get back here. A couple of gettable holes here in the near future for him.
And there's Alan to take the solo lead through one hole, putting him to 2 down for the tournament.
Gentle tap ins, and we are off and running here in round number 2 at the Eureka Temp course. Hole number 2, 615 feet, this par 4. Down and around the shelter there to the right. Rollers, a very common play off the tee here at the second. Although rollers do bring the lake a little bit more into play with the downslope down to the water line. And the basket here, in my opinion, a little further than some people give it credit for, up the lake now and onto a bit of a side hill.
Yeah, the roller is definitely the aggressive ideal play if you can make sure it turns to the right at the end. But you can chop this hole into 2 similar air shots into about 350 feet and then 280 or whatever you have left if you get down in a good spot.
Alan choosing to go with the air shot, wanting to make the corner.
And that shot looks pretty nice. Oh, and he lands, unfortunately, right behind a tree protector. I don't know if that's the perfect name for that.
Nope, I think that's a tree protector. I think he'll have a little bit of an awkward stance as Martin takes the box. Oop, needs this to cut. Or that'll work. Bounce off of something. Whatever it takes, Martin.
Yeah, he's going to have a very tough couple shots there to get par.
Joe needs this to stay straight. Nope, gets a little high there.
Yeah, I do like how he threw the shot higher, though, trying to flip it slower.
There's Kris flexing a forehand, just wants to make the corner, and does just by a handful of feet there.
Yeah, it's a great shot there. Similar to round 1, I didn't want to assume the forehands because we didn't see many, but looks like Kris was going to show us a couple.
So Martin, short of the corner, forced to just try to play around. He's already thinking par on this.
I was thinking he was probably in the neighborhood of 430 feet out still, maybe 450.
Joe, I'm surprised he made the corner despite that little bit of tree kick and got eaten up a little bit by the wind there, I think.
Yeah, I'd say once you get even with that little pavilion type building there, you're about 300 feet out. So now Kris here is, like I said, about 300. That disc needs to just land nicely for him, and it does.
Hits the brakes right in the nick of time.
That was an impressive shot, to say the least. I'm surprised Allen is going backhand here.
All right. Makes some sense.
Yeah.
Not
He
able,
should just
not
have an
able to
easy
get
par.
much on it, but
No.
at least he's got an open look here.
Martin looks so methodical as he lines up all of his shots.
And you see why a throw-in birdie from about 180.
It was incredible. Let's take another look at this.
Well, I was warned ahead of time that something big happened here on hole number 2. As I was taking some notes and catching up with the group right about this time, that's what I missed.
And that was my pure, never seen before excitement. Nice up shot from Joe.
He hasn't even gone up to clear the disc out of the basket yet. You see Martin's disc resting right there now. Yeah, now he gets to take the walk.
He's thanking the tree, too, for the little
Yep.
graze he had
Thank
past
you,
it.
tree. Acknowledge a few spectators up there on the hillside. Love to see it. Allen with a good run there.
Yeah, I'm surprised he actually spun that up. I thought he was just going to slide it into the green. He looks like he's feeling very confident. Nice little putt there from Joe.
Yeah, punches that in. Swirling wind. The lake also causes some interesting winds here. I feel like during the course of a round, the wind direction changed 2 or 3 different times. And with the lake, you get a real strong wind with nothing obstructing it coming off the lake. In a little while, we'll be back around the lake again, and the wind will be in a new direction. So the player's having to deal with a lot of variables today.
Let's see if Kris can put this in for a more of the routine birdie route. And he does.
How
nicely.
boring.
Yeah. And a windy hole, riddled with OB.
Yeah. What a boring couple of excellent shots there from Kris.
And also to be noted, Martin is now tied with Allen for the overall lead.
Yeah, these two duking it out. And not really gaining a lot of separation from the field, though. So we're still very, very early in this tournament. A par 3, 260 feet. That is your third here at the Eureka Temp course.
Yeah, this hole here, it plays well for the middle gap is the biggest gap, but if you hit a tree, you're most likely going to go out of bounds. You'll see players kind of drift it to the right a little bit to be a little safer, maybe even a sidearm over the path from Kris. And there's also a very tight hyzer gap on the right there you can see. And you saw that was a great kick. Martin was going for more of that drift to left to right shot instead of throwing it kind of like a late hyzer pop-up right to left. He looks like he's lining this up the middle, actually. He is.
Yeah, going with a very fast overstable disc, counting on it to flex out. Manages about 2/3 of the distance to the basket. Here's Allen.
And if you're going to miss, I think that's a fine miss just to pull it a little bit to the right. He'll have a tricky up shot, but I think he can get up and down. That was a great second kick. Also to be noted, this hole goes uphill quite a bit, so I think the 260 turns into about 290 or 300 feet.
Yeah, that is true. It is a more uphill hole than I think a lot of people realize as Allen pitches up.
It's a nice shot from him. Kris from distance, just a little bit short. Great run.
Joe from probably just outside circle 2. Great run there from Joe.
I honestly thought he was going to at least catch the top of the cage.
And now Martin.
Great putt from Martin. Looked like maybe a 30-footer there.
Takes advantage of the opportunity, scoring the lone birdie here at the 3rd.
All right. It was a good catch there. He pushed a little bit, but it stayed in. And no serious damage to be done on hole 3.
We're now at hole number 4, 423-foot par 3. This hole with a Mando here on the right, forcing the players to hug the tree line to the left, up and over a mound, and then fairly steeply downhill to a basket that sits on a little mound of its own. Another iconic hole, another hole that we've seen a lot of professionals over the years at the Ledgestone tournament and at Worlds a few years ago. We've seen them do some pretty incredible things here. I'm excited to see this MP40 division attack this hole.
Yeah, and the path really gets close to the basket, as you can see there.
Very, very close, yes.
And it's a blind shot, so the goal here is to not get the right wing down and let your disc trail off in an anhyzer.
Martin up first, hugging that tree line. That's a cool shot, seeing the disc come right over the crest of the hill.
Wow.
And he's in.
The things you don't get to see off the tee. It's cool to see him on the catch cam.
All right. Kris looking to do the same.
So Kris is actually electing for the tighter hyzer that the Mando takes out. You can kind of go with something more overstable and fast, and he'll have that like 35-foot look there.
Alan quickly to play next.
Alan's following Kris. He's got his a little more turned over, but it looks low, so it should be safe.
Missed the catch cam on that one. We'll jump over to Joe here. Starting out par, par, par.
Oh, that was very close.
All right, so Joe now with some work to do from the top of the hill. Still has to actually crest the hill a little bit before he gets to drift down to the basket.
Yeah, the shot's very tricky. I would imagine he's accepting a little bit longer of a putt. No, he slides it down nicely. That's only 18 feet at most.
Alan also went to the ground a little quicker than I had anticipated. He'll have a similar putt to Joe's.
Yeah, and both those players controlled their angles perfectly.
So Kris now from about 30 feet.
Oh, that was a great putt.
Confidently done. So Kris gets back those 2 strokes he lost with that opening double bogey. Martin now with an opportunity for a turkey.
There we go. It's a great birdie to get right there. See if Alan and Joe can tap in.
Cleaning up some pars here at the 4th. Yep, and Joe in also cleaning up the par here at the 4th. So Joe with a steady start. Wants to put a little more scoring on the board though. Kris gets back to even for the round. Both Alan and Martin starting off nicely here in round number 2.
Play disc golf.
Pelaan frisbeegolfia.
Spill disc golf. Yeah.
To help recognize players of all ages and backgrounds, we are excited to announce the PDGA Global Master Series.
Beginning January 2023, anyone competing in a Masters division at a PDGA-sanctioned tournament will qualify.
You'll be ranked with other players in your division from around the world. And the player with the 8 highest rated rounds will become a PDGA Global Master Series champion.
Visit pdga.com/GMS.
Ledgestone. Every summer, hundreds of disc golfers flock to the greater Peoria, Illinois area to compete in the sport's richest and most charitable event, the Ledgestone Open. But what does Ledgestone look like for the rest of the year? On the surface, Ledgestone is one of disc golf's leading retailers, but look a little closer and you'll find a group of motivated individuals providing the best possible service to the disc golf community. So whether you're building a bag, wanting to support your favorite pro, or looking to add to your disc golf wardrobe, choose the retailer that's as passionate about the sport as you are. Choose Ledgestone.
Hole number 5, the baseball diamond hole here at the the Eureka Temp course, a par 3, 476 feet up and over the outfield fence. I knew I was going to do that sooner or later. I knew I was going to drop the wrong E word here at Eureka.
I mean, they're both very open, windy courses,
Yeah.
so I can totally see where you're going with that.
Well, I had to drive past one to get here.
Yeah.
So looking at a very long but gettable par 3, if you can clear that fence with distance. Martin going to show us he's playing more of a safe route, playing for the par off the tee. Needs that disc to settle.
Oh, that's out of bounds.
By inches.
Yeah, it looks like an inch or two. They're also throwing into a very strong left to right wind, so if you get more aggressive, it's going to be difficult to get the disc to hyzer out.
Yeah, but always frustrating to play safe and still go out of bounds. So Martin will look to make up for that. Kris with the correction.
And he's still going to be about 100 out, I was going to say. Alan looks to be lining up a straighter shot as well.
Asking it to hustle.
It's nice and high, though. It should have plenty of time to fade out. He's right next to Kris. Looks like the wind is actually a tailwind by the basket.
Joe, this one out of the hand, we knew had more than enough distance. Actually, he was asking it to settle, but no problem there. Center cut.
You'll have the closest look.
Yep, look at Martin's there. Inches out of bounds.
And that's tough because the drop zone shot here, it plays probably around 400 feet. And to get close to the hole, you have to hug that the light pole there as close as possible.
Yeah, I lasered it actually at 354, but because of the hyzer, you're forced to throw, about 400 feet of power for sure. Here's Kris now from 150.
He left a little work there, but I think he can manage.
Alan is a step closer.
Great shot.
Now Joe, just about 110.
Oh, I thought we had another throw in already.
Yeah, choosing to just sort of spike that in there. So Martin, 27 feet.
Oh, that's just dirty.
That camera angle didn't do justice to what happened. That disc was falling into the basket, and when the chains sort of rebounded back to their position, they actually knocked the disc back out over the lip.
Almost like a rubber band effect.
Exactly like that. You had to be standing from the right angle to see it, but those of us that were standing at the right angle saw something that I have never seen before.
Yeah, I think I've seen it a time or two. It's just very unfortunate to happen in a tournament. I always make the analogy like a tournament roll where you get a freak roll in a tournament. That's almost like just a tournament spit out. Just some bad misfortune.
Joe, it squeaks it under the band.
It's in there. Alan with a tap-in par.
So after building a 2-stroke lead, Martin gives both of those strokes back here at the 5th.
He just wants to make sure you guys have a nice competitive video.
Yeah, more fun to watch. The hole 6, par 4, 885 feet. This hole, infamously with a lot of out of bounds marked by ropes on both the left and the right.
Yeah, this hole could very easily be a par 5. It's a very, very tough shot. If you're going to 3 the hole, I would say you need to push the shot about 500 feet off the tee. just because it's not a straight 885, it's an angled one.
Yeah, players can choose to take on some out of bounds, throwing, say, a hyzer out over the out of bounds, counting on it to come back, which is what we'll see to some degree here. It's just a matter of how risky you want to get. Kris up first.
That shot looks just fine.
Yeah, pretty safe all the way there.
I saw that it looks like they actually took out the second birdhouse. That was a good focal point for your upshot.
Oh, you're right. I hadn't noticed that. Alan choosing to take on just a little more risk.
I actually see the other birdhouse. It's in the group of people up the fairway. And I'm speaking about the upshot, not the tee shot. Because a 4 on this hole feels like a birdie. And there's another nice shot there from Joe.
Center cut.
These players are just looking to do that shot 2 times and then chip up and take a par, hopefully.
Martin choosing to go straight instead of with the hyzer, keeping the disc safe all the way down.
Yep, he's playing to his strengths. So like I said, he's probably aiming around that birdhouse in the distance here that he's hyzering.
There it
towards.
is.
Yep.
Yep, you're right. That was obscured by the group ahead, wasn't it?
Yep. If you can land by that, I think your upshot is roughly 270 at most. He looks like he's pushing it a little past here. Let's see. No, right on it.
Alan to play next.
That was really nice commitment there.
The grass at this time of year, really thick, really lush, really green. Not a lot of skips to worry about. Later on in the year when the Pro Tour is back here for the Ledgestone, things might be a little crispier.
Yeah, it's only about 3 weeks away, I think.
That could be enough time. Things could be a little slicker. So I'm interested to see how things change here.
We won't ignore the fact that Joe just threw a thumber there.
That was very interesting. Oh, dear. And as I'm commenting on Joe's shot, we watch Martin go out of bounds.
Yeah, it seems like Martin really favors the left to right shot. He likes to let his disc drift instead of just kind of playing lawn darts out there. That needs to slow down a little bit too. It looks like oh my goodness, he rolled back in. I'm not sure if he hit the banner back there or what. But
I think so, yeah. So Joe off of that thumber, rewarded with a casual shot there.
You can see Alan got way down here, probably about maybe 110 or so. That's my guess. And a carefree par. So now Martin's left here in circle 2.
Yeah, about 50 feet, choosing to take his relief in the direction of the hole, which is legal per PDGA rules.
Oh, very good run.
50-footer off the cage.
You love to see a carefree 4 on this hole.
Yep. Alan asking the card mates if it's okay if he taps out on his way through. And now back to Kris from 20.
Great putt.
Joe from a half step closer now.
Nice putt from Joe. He's on a par train, but that's not a bad thing out here. Boring golf will go a long way.
Certainly will, especially with this particular division playing the Eureka Temp course as well as Northwoods Black. Boring golf will definitely keep you at the top of the leaderboard as Martin taps out a second double bogey in a row, and we move on to the 7th, a par 3 at 275 feet, an out-of-bounds road off to the right, a creek tightly to the left.
Yeah, this is the first hole out here where you feel like you can really attack it, and you should have a putt most of the time, just barring not hitting a tree off the tee early.
Kris choosing to go up the middle with a forehand.
Yeah, and the forehand is the easiest shot to hit the gap with, but it's hard to make it sit by the basket. But as you were saying on the last hole, the grass is so lush that it really lets him stick now.
Well, it looks like he's lining up the road skip. Yep, he sure is.
It's well executed. He looks like he's maybe 15 feet behind Kris at least. Yeah, not too bad though. Maybe edge of the circle, a touch out. Joe seems to follow.
Joe gets a lot on this disc and then a huge flaring skip. So Joe finds himself almost at the edge of circle 2, deep of the basket.
They're really making me want to try that shot.
And Martin coming off of 2 double bogeys in a row.
Just has to miss this one tree on the left early. Okay.
That left to right drifting shot you mentioned before catches the last tree, nevertheless will have the closest to the pin for the card. Joe up first from 58 feet.
I just left a little high. For a moment, I thought he was going to hit the tree and actually run the basket.
Yeah, real gusty winds at this point in the round. One of those thunderstorms sort of going by. Sure, it was 10, 15 miles away, but close enough that the winds coming out of that storm were beginning to affect play for a few minutes here as Allen cashes in on the birdie from 35 feet.
Yeah, Allen's a very solid putter. He directs traffic and let them know who's out next. Nice spot from Kris there. Let's see if Martin can let the card go 3 down on this hole.
Oh,
he spun that thing.
Squeaks so it, yeah. You can see there on the hillside the feather flags in the distance, how strong the winds were at this particular moment. Martin handles them well.
There's a nice cleanup from Joe.
So the card goes 3 under par here at the 7th.
And Allen, I guess I didn't notice on the last hole, he's back as your solo leader by 1 over Martin at the moment. Another great look at his putt.
Here's the 8th at the Eureka Temp course, a par 4 at 793 feet through the gap here and out into the open before playing back to a narrow little isthmus. I feel like I should get a bonus for working in a word like isthmus.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Here between the creek on the left and a little low-lying sort of marshland on the right, the basket perched right here.
Yeah, and the players are throwing into a direct headwind here. This is going to be a tough shot.
Yeah, a really challenging tee shot. I think everybody happy just to get through the gap. Kris not quite able to do so.
And you can tell there he was throwing a very overstable disc looking for the wind to actually pop it up. Makes me believe it might be a slight head right to left wind. And the players are looking to get at least 300 feet off the tee to hit the initial gap. Allen does it perfectly.
Yeah, look at that disc dance around with the gusting winds out into the open. Martin hopes to execute a very similar shot here. Gets it a little high and inside.
Yeah, he followed Kris a little bit there. See if Joe can get us at 50% through making the gap. Oh, it's close.
Oh, ricochets, and he appears to be clear of the OB by just a matter of feet. So now from the drop zone.
This plays so far.
Yeah, you're still well in excess of 500 feet from the basket here.
Yeah, I was going to guess 450 to 80. You're essentially just throwing a disc as hard as you can at the woodline on the right and letting it fade to as close to the stump as possible, making your life easier. But Martin, he likes to play his shots left to right, so he'll pop one over there. He has a decent chance at saving bogey.
The players walk out and around that creek, and back here we are with Joe. Awkward footing.
Yeah, and see, he's throwing that hyzer I just talked about as hard as you can at the tree line, skipping over, and he might have an outside chance, but he's putting straight at the creek, so that's a difficult shot there if you're going to run it.
Alan now looking at least with the correct line into this gap.
It needs to get a little help.
Nope. Got help in the opposite direction.
Yeah, and it's so easy to leak out on this hole because the plateau slopes down to the creek all the way around.
Here's Kris with a good angle for a forehand.
Yeah, he really favors the forehand, so this should be an easy shot for him. As long as that sits for him, that should be fine.
This is around. Yep, no problem. Martin, this is a comfortable shot shape for Martin.
It's so fun to watch him throw those little elevator, nose up, float shots.
So this is 70 feet, looking straight at the creek behind the basket. Joe playing it safe.
Yeah, he did what I hoped most people would do there. A par on this hole goes a long way. This is one of the tougher par fours out here.
That's no more than a meter from the water, is it?
So Alan looks like he's probably 55, 60 feet here.
Yeah, 57 to be precise. Sort of a half go there. And now Kris to clean up a bogey.
That's not bad on this hole.
No, I don't think you're losing strokes to the field at large by taking a bogey here at the 8th. But by taking a birdie, as Joe will be tapping in for, or excuse me, by taking a par, you're doing something akin to taking a birdie, I think, on a vast majority of your field. So Joe, despite the par train of a start, sitting in a pretty good spot relative to the field here as we close in on the halfway mark of our second round.
Yeah, let Alan go back to fishing back there. Hopefully he gets his disc out.
He did. Took him a moment, but he managed to get that disc out.
One more look at his tee shot. He kept it nice and straight down the middle.
The bridge hole at Eureka Temp, well known. Par 3, 354 feet, playing decidedly downhill. A lot of players able to use a mid-range of sorts. You got a choice. You can go at the basket and take on what feels almost like an island of a green, or you've got a large bailout area off to the left. I guess technically it is all an island green of sorts, but the bailout area to the left is so large it doesn't really feel like a traditional island green.
Yeah, it's interesting shape. It's almost like the shape of like a reverse Africa or something.
You're right.
But yeah, with these players should have a tailwind on this hole, as you see Joe do the smarter thing here. So I'm thinking the mid-range, you can really get on it and test straight at the basket, and it should have a subtle leak. But it looks like they're all content with just bailing out to the left.
You might be able to see in the angle off of the tee pad here, the dark clouds there in the distance. That's another one of these little pop-up thunderstorms that was coming by right about at this moment.
Yeah, it looks like they're all just taking the hyzer, which is definitely a smarter play here. Especially if you're comfortable with a 60 to 80 foot run on a putt, you'll have a great chance at actually still tuning the hole.
See the tree there behind the basket dancing around with some of those wind gusts.
And there's Martin going straight at it. Oh my goodness. Once again, just barely trickling out of bounds. And he's not going to get to take that from there. He's going to have to take it from a drop zone across the bridge.
Mandatory drop zone right here.
I think this shot's playing in the mid to upper 200s.
Yep, 270, and Martin throws it about 272.
Let's see if Joe can get some green on the card here.
Yeah, his second 70-footer in a row, falling off a little bit short. Here's Kris now from about 57 feet.
Oh, I like it. Oh my goodness, just a touch short.
Took advantage of a lull in the wind there. There's Alan from 40.
See if he can keep his hand nice and high and get it there.
Nope.
I don't blame any of these players. The out of bounds is probably 20 feet, maybe closer past the basket.
From that angle, yes, I think you're exactly right. Here's Martin still with about 31 feet.
Oh, just a little mental lapse there.
Yeah, knew it out of the hand. So Martin finishes up a very up and down opening 9 here of his second round. 3 separate double bogeys plus a regular bogey. A single bogey, a regular bogey. I never know what to call those.
I mean, the bogey and the par are the rarest of the bunch.
Yeah, look at that. 1 par on his scorecard for 9 holes. That's remarkable. But Martin's still near the top of the leaderboard. We get a good look at Joe's form.
And the eerie skies in the background.
Yeah, players watching the radars at this point, trying to determine if they need to try to get some rain gear as we get ready to sort of make the turn and cross near where everybody was able to park their cars today. You get a good look there at our card and where everybody sits as we move into a back 9 that'll be filled with a lot of action here at the 2022 PDGA Masters World Championships. Make sure you're following us right here so you don't miss a moment of the action.